Hello, welcome back to Project Prelim 2024. Let me give you some last minute advice. You might be having the habit of studying the whole night before the few months of prelims, but this habit is going to be really trouble for you because the prelim exam is having two papers, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So it's important that you alter your sleeping pattern at least 1 week or 10 days before the exam. You may be having a nap in the afternoon because of the heat, but this also could pull down your performance because the afternoon exam is from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So keep a check on your sleeping pattern and make sure that you sleep at least 6 to 8 hours in the night. And of course, in general, I advise that you take plenty of liquid food because of the heat. Otherwise, you will be feeling very tired. And I also advise, apart from studies, that you take some time for a little bit of walking or some yoga or some kind of physical exercise. Severe kind of exercise and gymming is not very advisable with this weather and exams coming nearby. But walking and yoga is highly recommendable, preferably in the morning. And other than that, I would say, as the exam is approaching, you better concentrate on the combined kind of test now, rather than sticking to sessional tests. Because you should have that pattern of solving 100 questions in 2 hours for your paper 1, and it's very important that you check the previous at least 5 years of question paper. A repeat checking of this previous year's question paper is going to be really useful so that you get a pattern and picture of the real exam in your mind. Other than that, I suggest that you check maximum question papers possible from different sources. Different institutes will be having their test now, so you could check as many as possible. You may be traveling for your prelim exam because every state will be having like 2-3 exam centers. So it's advisable that people who have to travel to reach the exam center one day before and make sure that you know exactly where is your actual center is. Even people who are staying in the same city, it's important that you have a clear idea about your exam center, whether it's a school or a college, and you have to make arrangements of transportation also ready. So that will save last minute hustle. On the previous day of exam, it's advisable that by evening you stop studying and relax. You just can close your eyes and just keep revising things in your head. But you could just close your books and do a little bit of relaxation. The day before you could of course check important compilations from different areas, but the last minute study or late night study is something which is strictly to be avoided. And make sure that you keep everything necessary with you, your pens and other things which you need to carry to the exam halls. Everything has to be kept ready by the previous evening itself. And of course, have a good night's sleep, have a proper breakfast, freshen up and reach the exam center well in advance. This is the pre-preparation thing, and in the exam hall, let me give you some small tips. For your paper 1, I think it's advisable that you do a kind of 3 rounds. You start with the question number 1, whether you know it, mark it. If you don't know it, skip it. So like that, you could do the first round of 100 questions, and in most of the cases, up to 30 to 35 questions you will be able to mark in the first read itself. They are comparatively easier questions. You could do one more round, and in the second round you could mark those questions where you can take a 50-50 chance. In the earlier episode, I actually told you this. 75 to 80 questions minimum is required for you to crack this exam. So, there may be like 35 to 45 questions which you are sure, but there may be some up to 50 questions which you may be able to eliminate some part of it, but still you may have to take a chance. So, the second round of your checking the questions, you could mark most of this kind of questions where you have to take a chance. Then in the third round, you make sure that you leave only those questions which you absolutely don't have any idea. So, when you do your last minute compiled tests, try this 3 rounds of the entire paper. Now, your morning session will be from 9:30 to 11:30, and you have like 3 hours gap for the CSAT paper. So, if you are weak in your maths, you could use this time to check some of the formulas and stuff like that, and some questions as well. Sometime you could devote to that apart from having a proper lunch. And don't waste this in between time checking the paper 1's key. That will be fatal because your CSAT score is very important. So you could use that time productively. And for your CSAT thing also, my advice is there are comprehension questions and there are maths questions. There are few people who do only maths, there are people who do only the comprehension, but as I said in one of the previous episodes, there will be easy questions in both. There may be some easy maths questions and some of the comprehension questions will be very simple and direct. So, make sure that you read each questions. So, first, if it starts with the comprehension thing, you check that and check the question, and if you feel confident, you could mark it. Like that, you keep on going. A maths question comes up, and if it's a very easy one, you can go about it. If you don't find it, if you don't exactly remember how to work it out, or if you think it takes a lot of time, you can skip it and move forward. In that way, it's important that you check all the 80 questions in your paper too, and make sure that you don't make too many negative marks, and you mark adequate number of questions to get your cutoff. And that's how you could have a proper exam on that D-Day. And by the time you come out of the exam hall, a lot of people will be coming up with answer keys. But mind you, these answer keys were prepared in a hurry. So most of them may have some mistakes. So if you are really keen about finding out the answer, you could yourself check the questions from reliable sources, and you could yourself find whether you mark the right option or not. So don't rely too much on the answer keys of different institutes. And take rest for a couple of days, that's what I advise. Don't take too much of time checking up different kinds of answer keys and worrying whether you will make the cutoff. After a couple of days, start preparation. Because within 2 weeks, your results may come out, and within 2.5 months, you may have your mains if you clear. And even if you don't make it, if you still have attempts, you have to prepare for next year. So, anyway, you have to continue with your preparation in that case. So, immediately after the prelims, maximum couple of days rest, and within that couple of days, you do with the checking of the answer keys. Then straight away start with your mains preparation, preferably with your optional subjects. Because the last few months you may be solely devoting for the general studies preparation. So your optional subject you may need a bit of refreshing. So start with your optionals till your prelim results, and immediately after the results, join for some good test series of your GS and essay as well. So that is how you could have a proper, productive kind of a prelim. And let me wish you a very best exam this year. Hope all of you, were able to do it well. Ultimately, it is how strong your basics that matters and how well you practice. And one more thing, even if you have revised properly and your basics are strong, still if you panic in the exam hall, none of this is going to work. So even if the first 10 questions or something you find it difficult to answer, keep going. UPSC always will give you, 30-35 easy questions and some confusing questions, and the very difficult questions are actually very few. And if in your particular series, if that question comes in the first place, don't panic. Take each question at a time, and if you don't get one question, skip it and move on. So keep that in mind and you will be able to crack it. All the very best for a wonderful prelim.